the heads of those Bank of America and J.P. Morgan who are meeting with Senate Republicans and other executives to hash out the allegations.
We don't debank people because of their political, religious affiliations.
What's your message?
But there are a lot of things that can be fixed,
like
and
what?
We should fix them. The rules and the requirements are so onerous, and it does cause people to be debanked who, in my opinion, should not be debanked.
We have 70 million customers, and we're happy to serve anybody.
For more, let's bring in 1792 Exchange CEO and former Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Daniel, they can deny it all they want, but you know, as the former Attorney General of Kentucky, that J.P. Morgan, just as one example, did in fact debank a Christian not-for-profit that was run by the former governor of Kansas and Senator Sam Brownback. So they can act like, and I can sit here and go on and on about other cases which they actively debanked customers because of their religion or politics.
Dagan, you are exactly right. Governor Brownback has an organization, or did have an organization, that was debanked. He made that evidently clear, and painstakingly clear, that they had been debanked. You look at the Defense of Liberty PAC that J.P. Morgan debanked simply because they did an event with Donald Trump Jr. You look at the First Lady, who in her memoir said that she had been debanked. She didn't note the bank specifically, but talked about being debanked. Look, at the end of the day, I'm glad that there was a bipartisan group of senators on the banking committee that acknowledged that this is a real issue that millions of Americans are having to face. And I'm glad that there sounds, whether it's Senator Tim Scott, and I never agree with Elizabeth Warren, but she's right. And Tim Scott, they are both right, that we got to get the banking house in order, if you will, when it comes to debanking, because it is hurting and harming Christians. It is hurting and harming those that have traditional values, and it's got to stop. And I'm hopeful that the Senate and the House will come up with something that will make it crystal clear to banks that they cannot do this any longer.
Now, I hear all the right words. You know, they're going to stop this. Trump took him on at Davos, asked Moynihan to his face in front of the world. But trust but verify. That's my approach. What do you say?
David, that's exactly right. Look, I'm delighted that they have to go to Capitol Hill and answer for these egregious practices that they've had in the past. But the folks on Capitol Hill, our senators and our congressmen, they've got to keep up the pressure. And I'm glad that President Trump does what most folks want, and he tells it like it is. And I was delighted to see that he didn't hold back on Brian Moynihan. He told the truth about the debanking issues that are rife within Bank of America. And Jamie Dimon has to answer for it as well. Again, it's good that the Senate had them there in Washington to hold them account for this. But the American people, folks that are watching this show and folks all across this country, have to be vigilant, because this stuff is happening daily. And you got to make sure that you stay up to date and keep up the pressure on these banks to do right by the American people.
Daniel Cameron, thank you so much. But don't trust Lizzie Warren. Because
Yeah, so there you have it. So, you know, there are some people, companies, and also people that worry about, you know, they might keep debanking because of political and religious reasons, which is, you know, I think it's crazy. So we'll start with you, Ronnie. What's your take on, you know, major banks, you know, could probably debank because issues like religion and also political issues?
To me, I don't like that, because we need the banking system. Remember, America runs on banking system, and the banking system is pretty much diminished because of the political view and also because of religion aspect of it. It takes away the whole value, especially the whole value when it comes to American banking. So to me, I don't think they should. No, they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. Now I understand people try to get political views and also religion involved, but stuff like that should be separate outside of the banking system. Go right ahead, Akeem.
I think it's crazy but the banks always does weird stuff. It's comical to hear this, because the bigger issue is we got bank deserts. there's certain neighborhoods that don't have a local bank, that, you know what I mean, that don't have access to banks. So now you have these quasi games you play with people who might be an impact to this thing. And don't get me wrong, I think some of the guys, if I'm not mistaken, from the Nation of Islam or something, and don't quote me on this, you know, anybody who's a influence that doesn't agree with the status quo, they might get at you like that. You know what I mean? So I just think it's comical. I think if you, regardless, freedom of having a bank account is like having freedom of speech, even if we don't like your ass. So you have a right to have an account.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the situations, I hope it won't be a bigger issue going future on, you know, and you know, cause we definitely gonna talk about more stories about this, about, you know, certain people or companies, you know, are not accepted, the banks are not accepted because, you know, some issues becomes religion and also political issue as well. So, um, yeah, but this, for me, when I first heard about this, I'm like, wow, they could really do that, and they really can. So, hopefully they could work the situation out, and, you know, and hopefully we'll hear more stories about, you know, other people get debanking for some stuff like that, because we need banks. Everybody needs banks. You know,